Hey, welcome back to my channel. Sorry, I'm just getting into position because I saw my head was being cut off a little. But if you are new here, my name is Erica, and today I'm going to talk a bit about disability in the media. Now, I know I have a few, I think I have two previous videos on this topic. One of them was a collaboration with another disabled YouTuber named Talia Flores, and the other one was one I made earlier in December that was just about ableist tropes that sometimes occur in film. But today's gonna be a bit different. It might be a bit of a ranty video because this is a topic I'm very passionate about, and you could probably guess some of the reasons why, but then I'm also gonna talk about some of the reasons why in this video. But anyway, this is about non-disabled actors playing disabled roles. Now, I know this is a bit of a controversial topic. Why? I really don't know why it's controversial. So, why can't I say the word controversial today? But I don't know why people disagree on this. But for whatever reason, a lot of people see it differently than I do. But this is a topic I'm very passionate about. And I'm just going to go out and say it. I do not believe under any circumstance should a non-disabled actor be playing a disabled character. And the reason why is because, number one, it's almost 2022, and representation matters, and disabled actors deserve roles. And also, I'm just tired of seeing non-disabled people prancing around as disabled people and calling it art, because I don't think it's art. And I'm going to give a few examples of ones that really have offended me in the past. And you might not agree with me, and that's fine. I just ask that you be respectful in the comments, especially because I know this is a topic that can be very personal to people, especially disabled people. And one of the reasons why this really pisses me off, and this is kind of embarrassing, but I want to be an actor. Well, I guess I am an actor. I just don't have any roles, but I really want to act. And I also really want to be a screenwriter. And it's hard to say that out loud because it sounds really unrealistic. It's like people saying they want to be a pop star. It's like, okay, there are a million other people who want the same thing, and it's a really hard industry to break into. But I think it's especially hard for disabled people, especially ones with like speech impairments, because I mean, let's be real here. I know a lot of people don't like to watch my YouTube channel because they don't like the way I speak. There are people who say they mute my videos, and that hurts. But I want to be clear here. If you're somebody who watches my videos on like 1.5 speed, I'm not offended by that, because I watch videos sometimes on 1.5 speed. It really depends on the video. But that does not offend me. But what does offend me is when people tell me they mute my videos because it makes them anxious to hear me talk. Like, how do you think that makes me feel about how I talk that it makes you anxious. But part of the reason why I really don't think non-disabled actors should play disabled characters is because I never saw myself growing up. And that sounds silly because I'm a fairly thin, white, cisgender woman, so you're probably like, you're represented in every movie, Erica. But no, because a large part of my identity is my disability. And if I don't see that represented, then no, I don't see myself represented. And I think we forget that about people, is people are multifaceted. If we don't see one part of our identity represented in the media, then we don't see ourselves in the media, because I don't just cherry pick my identities. Oh, what do I want to feel like today? Like, no, every identity I have is what I am. And if I don't see that, then I don't see myself. And it was really hard growing up to see non-disabled actors playing disabled characters, especially like with cerebral palsy or like Parkinson's or anything that deals with like neurological and like motor control, because it's almost like a mockery. Like, you'll see actors like faking tremors, and if you are someone who has any type of tremor, you probably realize no actors do it well. And I don't mean that to be mean. I mean that to be realistic. For instance, the other day, I went to the dentist to get 2 cavities filled, and I was so anxious. I had not been to the dentist in 10 years. I know that's kind of bad. But anyway, let's ignore that part of it. But I was very anxious to go to the dentist. So my leg was shaking like a leaf. I probably shouldn't have done that with my hand. Oh well. But my leg was shaking like a leaf. It was twitching uncontrollably, like really bad tremors, or as a lot of people with CP refer to them, it was like a spaz attack. And I feel like when actors try to recreate spaz attacks, they'll do like the whole body. But the thing is that's not always how they work. Sometimes it's like one muscle or one muscle group that's just going wild, and it just won't stop moving. And it's also a very painful thing, but it's more, I would describe, at least for myself, as more annoying than painful. Like, I kept trying to get it to stop, but no matter what I did, my leg would not stop going up and down and up and down and up and down. And I just don't like when non-disabled people try to recreate that, because it reminds me of when back in like when I was in school, like middle school and high school, when people would make fun of my disability and they would mock some of the characteristics of my disability. And that's not cool. And it's never cool. And you can say you're an actor all you want, but I get the same feeling I got back in high school when I saw people doing that. And it hurts. 1 second, I have to get my iPad. So the film that I would like to draw to your attention right now is called The Awakening, and it is starring Robert De Niro and I believe Robert Williams, and I think it came out in 1981. I could be mistaken, so when I'm editing it, I may correct myself. Okay, so I'm just going to interject here that I was wrong about when the film Awakenings came out. I was also wrong about the title. I believe in the video I said The Awakening, but it's Awakenings, and it was released in 1991, which is a big difference from 1981. So I just wanted to add that little clarification there. But I believe it was in 1981, and Robert De Niro played a man with Parkinson's. Now, if you don't know what Parkinson's is, it is a progressive neurological condition. My grandfather had it, and a lot of times it's marked by like tremors and a lot of like your muscles weaken over time. So hopefully I'll be able to play a clip in this video. But Robert De Niro
never better.
was acting out tremors, and it wasn't a good look for him. And I know it was in the 80s, and the 80s were a different time, and different things were acceptable back then, but it's, in my opinion, it's really offensive the way he portrayed this. And other people may disagree with me, and I had an argument with somebody over this, so I know that people disagree with me, and that's fine. But the way that the person I had this argument with disagreed with me was not okay. He called me stupid. He said I was a narcissist. It's not okay to argue with people in that way. But anyway, this video is not about that. But I would love to see actual disabled people getting roles, and not just the token actor here or there getting roles, because I believe when one disabled actor breaks into the industry, they get all the roles. But I don't want that. I want there to be diversity within the disabled community and on screen. I don't just want the white girl in a wheelchair who's paralyzed from the waist down. Like, that's great, but there are other people. There are people of color that are disabled. There are trans people that are disabled. There are people with speech impairments, people with CP, people with both speech impairments and CP. Basically, what I'm trying to get at is, I'm happy that Alice Roker has made it in the entertainment industry, but I don't think it's enough. I'm always happy when I see a disabled actor, but then I kind of get upset when they keep getting roles, and even roles that maybe aren't designed for her. Like, I know she is playing Judy Human in an upcoming biopic, and hopefully if you're watching this, you know who Judy Human is, but if not, pause this video and go watch Crip Camp, which is a documentary on Netflix, and then come back. But Judy Human in real life, she's a quadriplegic as a result of polio. He had polio when she was a baby, and so now she is a quadriplegic. She has some use of her arms, but she can't like push a wheelchair. But Allie Stroker is a paraplegic. She was in a car accident when she was a baby. And this may seem like a very minuscule difference, but to me it's not. There's a big difference between somebody who's quadriplegic and somebody who's paraplegic. And I do think, and I might get myself in trouble for this, but I believe that there is a such thing of the hierarchy of disability, and I'm going to explain that. I don't think some disabled people are more important than other disabled people, so please do not take it as that. But I mean, some disabled people are treated better than other disabled people. Like, I even notice that when I'm around my disabled friends who do not have speech impairments, they are treated much differently than me. So that's why I would really like accurate representation in the media, because I do believe the media has a chance to shape people's perceptions of things. So seeing a quadriplegic on film could change the way you see people that are quadriplegic. I cried the first time I watched Crip Camp because it was the first time I ever saw people who talked like me, and that made a big difference because I knew it wasn't an actor pretending to talk like me. There were people that actually talked like me, and they were talking in a movie that was nominated for an Oscar. Do you know how big that is? Do you know how wild that was to me to see people who talked like me in a movie that was nominated for an Oscar? Growing up, I never saw people who talked like me, especially not people that actually talked like me. Like, of course, there were actors who mimicked a stutter, but I never saw actual people that talked like me. And it was a big deal to see that. And I think people who've been represented in the media don't know what it's like for people who haven't been. They don't know what it's like for someone who, for the first time, sees someone like them in a movie. Because that's like a surreal feeling. It's hard to explain. Because I grew up thinking I couldn't be an actor. I couldn't be in a movie because who the fuck would want to hear me talk? Who the fuck would want to be patient enough for me to get my words out? Who the fuck would want to have to read subtitles? Because sometimes I'm hard to understand. And you know what? That was internalized ableism. Because I never saw people like me on screen, so I just assumed people like me could not be on screen, and we had to be played by non-disabled actors. But that's not the case. And I really want that to change. I'm getting emotional in this video. But another thing I wanted to address is the argument that there aren't enough disabled actors out there. And also, maybe the disabled actors just aren't as good as the non-disabled actors. Or maybe they just don't have enough range. And my answer to that is there are plenty of disabled actors. We have people like Maysoon Hayed, who is a comedian and an actor, and she has CP, and I believe she's Palestinian, and she is a very good actor. But she's had a very hard time getting roles because people are like, well, who's going to want to watch a woman with CP? And it's like, I would want to watch a woman with CP. I actually met Maysoon a few years ago. She came to my college and she was like giving a talk, and I met her, and that was really cool to meet her because she's just a very cool person. She puts herself out there a lot, and we need more people like her out there. And I also know Lolo Spencer recently got a role on the Sex Lives of College Girls, I believe it's called. I haven't watched that yet because I don't know like what streaming service or channel it's on, and I don't know if I have that. But if I do, at some point after the semester's over, I'll probably watch that and tell you all how I feel about it. There's Micah Fowler, who was in the show's Speechless. There was RJ Hiddy, who was in Breaking Bad. He was in Switched at Birth. He's been in a ton of different things. And there are so many disabled actors that I don't even know about because they haven't gotten roles, because they haven't been given a chance to prove themselves. And also the idea that disabled actors have less range than non-disabled actors because they can only play a disabled person is not true. That's not true at all. And you can't convince me otherwise. Because if we can watch the movie, what's that movie called? It's the one about Bethany Hamilton. It was a very inspo horny movie. I don't recommend it, but and this is embarrassing, but the movie about Bethany Hamilton with Anna Sophia Robb playing Bethany Hamilton is called Soul Surfer. I just wanted to put that in there. It just bothered me that I didn't say it. And also, I'm probably during editing, I'm probably gonna write it on the screen, but in case you cannot see it, or if it's hard to see it, then I just wanted to say it out loud, just so we're all on the same page here. So yeah. It was the movie about Bethany Hamilton, and Bethany Hamilton was played by Anna Sophia Robb, who is a non-disabled actor. And so, in order to have her look like somebody who's an amputee, they had to use CGI. So why can't they do that for disabled people? And now you may be like, well, who the hell would want to watch that, Erica? CGI isn't always realistic. So then why do we use it on non-disabled actors to make them disabled? Why? And I know there's gonna be a few people who are gonna be like, but what about characters who become disabled halfway through the movie? Again, I believe we can use CGI. We can also use body doubles. You can, and they have scenes of them standing or walking. You can have a body double. And also, and this is a totally off topic, and this video is a mess. I don't even know if I'm gonna put this out. But I just had to get all my thoughts out there. But when I go see a Broadway play, and I see they have wooden trees up, now I know that's not a tree. I can tell it's made of like 2D wood. It's not an actual tree. But you know what? I don't spend half the time at the Broadway show being like, oh, that looks so big. That's not a real tree. So like, what is the issue with having disabled actors playing non-disabled roles? Like, really, use your imagination. Like, are we that? Are we that? Like, do we not have imaginations anymore? I know this was a really ranty video. And it's like, get to the point, Erica. But I guess my point is this. It's that representation matters in every form. When it comes to every identity, and I mean every identity needs to be represented, and it needs to be represented accurately. And I know that might be hard for Hollywood studios, and I know they may be like, but what if people don't want to see that? But my question is, what if people do? And I know I don't have a lot of subscribers, but I have 2,400. So 2,400 people want to tune in to watch a disabled woman who has a speech impairment talk. And that's a lot of people. And I know in the grand scheme of things, when it's in like Hollywood, like if 2,400 people watched a movie, like they'd be like, that movie did terrible. Nobody's even seen it. But you have to start somewhere. And here's where I'm starting. This video was a mess. Thank you for watching and listening to me rant. And if you have not already and you would like, and you enjoyed this video, please give this a big thumbs up so it can put it into the algorithm and more people can see it. And if you have not already and you would like to see more of my content, please consider hitting that subscribe button. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you again next time. Bye.